Hello and welcome to Rekt Radio episode 97. We got recurring guest Trader Main. Looks like he's on the phone right now. He's coming back. Where is he? There he is, Trader Main.
Hello, friends.
Where are you coming from, Main? You look like you're in the nice luxury of some tropical weather.
Canada. As you can see, this is what Canada looks like in the winter.
Ah, beautiful. So, I thought you were down in America, and I thought we were gonna have to call the ICE agents. And I get them directly to that spot wherever you are because I didn't think Trump allowed motherfuckers like you down
here. This is one of those fake backgrounds.
Just in case any ICE agents are on the phone, Maine is not in Florida.
This is all green screen back here.
He's here legally. Don't tell him. Anyway, yeah, we got episode 97. I mean, we have a Fed day today, so that's fun. I mean, I'm fucking tired. Cynthia Loomis ruined my life by tweeting some fucking dumb shit, and then market obviously sold right back down, but I was over risked, and now I dropped a cast level. I'm socially down level. I lost a couple zeros. I'm fucking ruined basically. So yeah, I'm like everyone else. Yeah, I'm like everyone else.
You honestly live stream this stuff though, which is what I love. It's like everyone, like it's just out there. As you're massively short, and then you're just like, yep. Liquidated, gonna sign off for a few days. Suddenly you go back to being a sports influencer, and then 6 months later you'll be back.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm just I don't know what to say. Depressing. I think I'm missing I don't know, I've lost a chromosome somewhere along the line, fell out of my head. But
you gotta be one of the greatest traders that I know, but then like it just kind of stops there. Like it's just like you've traded up. I mean this as a compliment in the best way I can, because you probably traded up probably 100 mil of profit. It's just like,
yeah, I mean, luckily I've cashed out quite a lot of it, and I bought a lot of real life stuff and all that good shit. And
you're definitely up over the
last. I'm up a lot. Yeah,
up a lot, right? Like you've really reversed it, but then you were at the peak of glory. And to be honest, if you'd kept that short on, if you hadn't had as much size,
yep.
God,
yeah, would have crushed it. Well,
you hadn't thought about that yet, had you?
What?
That hadn't crossed your mind at all yet?
It's crossed it. Yep.
The difference for you, Keyboard, is you can do it, right? Whereas a lot of other people, they get lucky and then they round trip and then they're fucked because it's like they've got to hit the lottery again. You've got the skill. You just have to get out of your own way.
It's whatever.
In one of these times, you're going to be like, you know what? I like being super rich. And
as I said, I have cashed out a lot, so I'm okay. But
we're speaking relativistically. I'm just being like one of these days you're gonna get up.
Oh, we lost Maine and the wisdom.
If you'd kept it on, what sort of
No, I mean, I would have made like 5 mil or so. I don't know.
Surely more, no?
What was I? I mean, that day it went down to 97,000, right? I mean, that was like what, a 10% drop.
10%, I guess. It was just Bitcoin, right?
No, it was short Bitcoin, Sol, and ETH. So I mean, like, it would have been 5 to 10, whatever. Whatever.
Is it over now?
Can't cry over spilled milk. No, I don't know. I mean, the Bitcoin's held up pretty well. And I mean, stocks don't look bearish per se. People just sold some chip stocks and rotated to megas and software. I don't know. I think we might just be in that choppy range that just really hurts everyone who's leverage trading as well. We've seen that many times in the history of Bitcoin where they just keep in the range for a long time.
Did you see that Hyperliquid chart 2 days ago, where it was like it showed the P&L from Hyperliquid that the protocols made over the last year, and like in the time period that Bitcoin's gone from 40K to 100K, Hyperliquid has made like $60 million. Just in that liquidation fund. You're just like, oh god, like
feels like we're back in that liquidation fund padding schedule.
Yeah. What do you think, man? You think it's overblown? Everyone's always like, oh, Bitcoin's still at 102K, but I think a lot of people got destroyed over the last month.
So it's one of those things where people who already have money and own Bitcoin tell everyone that Bitcoin's still 100K, but like no one owns Bitcoin, man. Right? Like the majority of people that you're interacting with on Twitter, they're knee deep in altcoins. And to me, this cycle's even weirder because prior cycles, like, you know, there's 3,000 coins. Like you could hold some dog shit, but it's like 3,000 coins. Now there's 3 million. And we've just created this kind of like Insta-Jeet culture where nothing really runs for a very long time. Like you remember Goat? Like Goat was
Goat.
It was the next thing. It's like the first AI agent, all this stuff. And it went to 1 billion and now it's at what? It's like down 80%. So it's just like you wonder if like there's only so much money in the system. And the hot ball of money is just moving way faster than ever before, where we kind of used to get those periods of a rising tide, you know, raises all ships. And maybe we're not going to see that the same way. There's still going to be alts that go nuts. They just go faster and faster and faster. And the rotations are quicker and quicker. And you just got to be a little bit more nimble. But I always tell people, like, you're here to secure the bag, not be the bag holder, right? So if you got a bag, fucking secure it, get out, go buy something new. Because like if we do get stuff pumping again, the chances of your old shitcoin pumping versus something new, probably going to be something new that pumps based on the culture that we're seeing right now.
Mike, we lost your audio, Mando.
I said you don't want to be in Melania coin, do you? That coin just got brought up on the chart. That is going to be the worst coin I've ever seen. Like that is going to be a straight line of 80% down, 80% down.
You don't like the meme? Oh man, I think you just got to be more delusional. Man, you're never going to get any likes unless you post. You got to be delusional and hold forever and just pick the culture coins and round trip them back to zero.
Well, like for me, dude, like I don't know. I've always told people like it's not my game. Like I've fumbled all the big memes. I don't hold them long enough. The ones I do hold go to zero. But it just seems like the altcoin space has been taken over by these trench guys, right? Where it's like shit runs to 100 mil and then it's gone. And I think Trump was a really good microcosm of the actual amount of liquidity in this shit. Like when Trump was going, everyone was selling their coins into Sol to buy Trump and everything died. So I think what a lot of people need to worry themselves with is, let's say you have $1 million in shitcoin A. You don't actually have $1 million. You know what I mean? Like that's just how many tokens you have times by the current price. And what we've seen based on how much liquidity is actually in some of these coins is when the music stops, it's going to be really hard to get out of some of these positions without getting fisted.
Yeah, you have to be opportunistic and take money out when things are.
Dude, I was up a bunch on a couple of random coins I was in like 2 weeks ago, and they're now down 80%. And now I'm like, well, fuck, do I just sell here or do I hope that I get a complacency bounce?
I think that's what it's been. I think a lot of this stuff is it's wilder than it was last year. Like when it was like, I mean, this time last year, it was like Whiff, Pepe, maybe Mog, but like Whiff and Pepe, Bonk. Like there was like a handful of meme coins that you were even looking at. Pump.fun was basically just starting to churn out coins. Now it's like you literally blink and it's down 40%. And then you got to make a decision about like, right, it's probably over or not. Do I hold it down to 80% or hope for some sort of relief bounce? Like I was looking at the other day, the total Solana meme coin market cap, you can check it on CoinGecko, is 17.5 billion right now. And it was at 22 billion in November. Now that might sound crazy, but Whiff was at 5, Bonk was at 5 or 4.5. Peanut had just launched at 2.5. Goat went up to 1.3. I'm trying to think which other there was. Popcat was at 2. Mew was at 1. Right? Look at we've lost, despite Solana hitting all-time high and Bitcoin going up another 30%.
There's only so much money, bro. Like that's the thing. Not all this.
You can only turn left for so long. You can't turn left to generational wealth. You have to get out.
Tell that to NASCAR. But that's a joke only for the Americans. But here's the thing that when you look at the market right now, what I think is very interesting, right, is I think everyone is driving the car right now and they're looking in the rearview mirror, but they're driving forward. They're saying, well, this happened last time, right? Like that's a surefire way to fucking crash your car. So I think the issue people are having is they're saying, well, Doge went to this, Sheeb went to this, therefore my derivative of a dog coin must go to that. And I think an actually much more interesting calculation is that they're saying, okay, Sheeb went to 15 billion. So my AI coins all got to go to 10 billion. But if you combined all the AI agents together at their peak, it was like $15 billion. So it's not like they didn't go up a ridiculous amount. It's just that maybe because there's so much dispersion now, not each individual coin is going to reach as high as, some coins did last cycle. Maybe we're just wrong and we're just doomers and everything's going to go way fucking higher. But I just don't know if there's enough money to pump all of this shit to tens and 20s of billions. There will be some up a lot, but yeah.
That's it. That's hit the nail on the head. Like it's just there's just more choice now. Like the pump fund has just made it so easy for you to change. And that 17 billion figure includes Fartcoin, Trump, right? Like we've had other runners in that space. We've just gone down overall. So even after Trump added whatever 5-7 billion, all those coins are down. It does just feel like that has been the main thing that's changed this cycle, is that we're now in a new world of token generation, and there's no holding on to a bag. Like just take your profits and get out.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's how it should have been the entire time. Like I know the bonk guy, everyone likes to clown on him and then celebrate him, then clown on him. Like, listen, I think what he's done is incredible. Do I think it was smart? Like, because he's holding like some of the longs on leverage, like paying millions of dollars in funding. It's like, I think there was better ways to do it. I can't judge. I mean, he's the one who's up 8 figures on some random long from a year ago. But I do think that last cycle, you could hold a good project, and then when the alt season came, you knew you were going to get some kind of multiple. Whereas here, I think you've got to be much more selective. We're going to see much more secular pumps. Like we saw AI rip and all of the animal meme coins got smoked. Whereas in previous cycles, all of those coins kind of went up at the same time. So I don't know. Maybe we're being too doomer, but let's just hope Powell comes in and he cuts rates and then we're all happy again.
So what do you own? Like if you're saying you're a bit more long term, you miss all the runners, like is it literally just trading in and out of majors? Like
I primarily own Bitcoin is majority of my portfolio. I own Solana. I unfortunately own a bunch of ETH as well. So like ETH, like I had a Solana leverage long at 185, and during the Trump craziness, I TP'd it at like 270, and ETH didn't move. Like ETH was at the same price. Solana went up like 50-60%, and ETH didn't move at all. So ETH has been a painful hold. I still think it makes a new all-time high this cycle. I feel like it'd be crazy for it not to. Maybe I'm wrong.
Pain. That chart is just pain.
It's been pain, but if you look at prior cycles, like the double up on ETH always comes after Bitcoin tops anyways. So
you just said you shouldn't look at past cycles though, man.
I know. I'm there you go.
Or buy bags.
I'm sipping my own Kool-Aid. But yeah, the majority of my money is in the big three. I have some XRP. I've bought a few other coins that are kind of within that Trump basket, like Aave, like stuff that World Liberty Fi has been buying. Because who knows? I mean, maybe Trump's gonna do something crazy with US-based cryptos. I don't know. So I want to just have some exposure there. But in terms of like memes and shit like that, dude, I've trimmed a ton of shit. I fuck around. I have a Trojan wallet. Like I'm fucking around with shit. But I'm pretty confident if I were to look at my actual address and calculate, am I up or down? It's probably like, break even, maybe slightly up at best. And I've been in some things where I've put in 5K, it's been 100K, but I don't sell because I'm like, well, maybe this is the one that's going to, millions, and it never seems to be. So that's just not my game. Every time I do a stream, everyone's asking me, I'm like, dude, like there's a lot of proven trench warriors who clearly know what they're doing, and I'm not one of them. So
I think they are, but then everyone posts the gain and then they don't post the 80% drawdown literally an hour later. Like I was looking at even that because it came up because obviously there was Frank made all those gains on that Elon coin the other day, the pump.fun guy. That coin's at $10 million now. If you bring up that chart, like it is crazy that you just have to take profits. You just have to take profits if you've got a gain.
There's a ton of survivorship bias in meme coins, right? Like you said, you only hear about the winners. You don't hear about the $5,000 clips that they fired into 50 other coins that all went to zero. So it's just a different game. I think for the most part, outside of like, I read an article, this is less than a month old, it's a few weeks old, that said less than 0.5% of people trading on pump.fun have made more than 10 grand. That's like pretty crazy. So you've got to like kind of have a think of reality check. I'm not telling people not to buy the lottery tickets because clearly they're handing them out and some of them are hitting probably at a higher clip than the actual lottery. But most people are getting wrecked in meme coins, just like they are in leverage. Like it's the 95%, kind of 5%, idiom like that most people are losing is, I think, still accurate in meme coins, even more so. Like you have some people who are hyper winning and majority of people are just firing off lottery tickets with no rhyme or reason, hoping to hit it big. And maybe you will, so don't let me be the one to tell you not to, but just know what you're getting into. You're buying vapor. This coin doesn't do anything. And if you do make a crazy sum of money, you 100% should cash it out.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that like you were, I think, one of our first guests. Like, what episode are we on right now? Episode 97. I think you were like guest 2 or 3. And that was, you came on, you just lost money on FTX. It was just after Dubai. You came back home. No, but it's a good story. Like you then said on this show, I'm going to make it back. Like I'm going to spend each day making small money. And then I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet from you maybe a month ago saying all-time high net wealth. And I kind of smiled and thought back to that episode. Like, what's the journey been like to make all that back?
I mean, honestly, I made it all back and more. It was unbelievably painful, but when you can do it, it makes it a lot easier. I think earlier in my trading career, when I was in crypto, I'd made money by being lucky, like being a bull in a bull market. And I think that's what a lot of people probably right now are feeling. They're like, well, I was up so much, now I'm down. I just need, like, a lot of people need the market to go up to make money. I'm fortunate enough that I don't need that. Obviously, the market going up is better for me making money because I own spot and I know how to trade in an uptrend. But a lot of people, they need the market to increase for them to make money. And you can tell just by the way they tweet, the way they talk about stuff. It's like, oh, you're making money because everything is going up. And I mean, at Breakout, right? Like a lot of our traders, we look at the data. Most people make money when everything is going up. The moment there's any sort of sideways action or only some things are going up, people they're getting smoked. And so I knew I could do it. What was most depressing was the time of losing it. Like that was the bottom. But yeah, dude, it was a grind. It feels really good. It reminds me I still got the skill. But would I have liked to have kept the money and had it all in spot when Bitcoin was $20,000? Like, yeah, of course. But if I can do it, you guys can do it as well. I ended up selling my claim. I got like 99 cents on the dollar. I just didn't want to deal with the bankruptcy shit anymore. And now I think they're selling at like 110. So there's hope for those of you yet who might be waiting on your claims or stuff like that. You can sell them. You are going to get your money back. So yeah, dude, it's been a journey. It's been a lot of fun. But
any big wins away from the majors on the way? Like any really good trades or metas or whatever you caught?
I caught Pepe and I caught Doge back. I guess what would it be? October, right? Like they both did like a 3x. I did really well there. And then March, basically January to March of last year, we had that crazy run up kind of post ETF. I crushed. But I crushed so hard that I got really cocky at the top. So I made a shit ton of money from January to March, like consistently, like six-figure win, multi-7-figure a month. And then I gave back almost half at the very start of that 7-month consolidation, right before I went on a like month-long trip to Bali. So that was shitty. I mean, I was still up huge, but that was just like a very bad lapse in judgment where I just was like, dude, I'm killing it. I'm just going to size everything double right now for this last, I think Doge was at like 40 cents and we were all calling for $1. We're like, this is it. Like it's about to do it. And like, that was the Pico Schmico top. So that sucked. And then I crushed, to be honest with you, the sideways range. I'm good at that. Like I found March to whatever it was, October. Yeah, it was painful for a lot of people, but when the market just goes like this, like it's so predictable. Buy the range low, sell the range high. So I had 6 or 7, really good trades in there on Bitcoin alone. So yeah, it's been a journey, but yeah, those probably my 2 biggest individual wins were Pepe and Doge. Back when they did their 3x in a month kind of thing.
Yeah. So trading sideways, how would you do that? Because it feels like we could be now. I personally think we could be in for another one here.
Like, you might be back, main. It might be main time.
It could be a few months of chop. It just has that feeling about it. Like some of the risky stuff has been deflated. Everyone's literally losing their mind when Bitcoin goes down, which just tells you that everyone is either lost money or they need it to be the cycle top. And I just kind of feel like I don't think we're at it. Doesn't. I mean, I just don't think we're at that level. And at the same time, there's enough fear that we won't break out. So
I have a few predictions. One, just looking structurally, if we're going to go for another leg higher, this consolidation should be shorter than the prior one, right? Because as you get further in the trend, the consolidations, the reaccumulation, whatever you want to call it, gets shorter because we built that huge base for 7 months. People seem to forget that we were at like 60K and then we went to 108 in a straight line. Like the fact that we're going sideways right now is not bad whatsoever. Like it's completely normal. Now, ideally, this consolidation is instead of 7 months, maybe it's 2 or 3 months. And then we get that final leg and then it's fucking cooked. So I see it as kind of 2 real scenarios. Like we're going sideways here between 90 and 105, let's call it. And then we have another leg up and that's potentially our top. Or we get some sort of crazy washout right now. Like we're like Arthur's thesis of like we're going down to the 70s, which I think would be devastating, but it's possible. But I think the only way that we get to 300K Bitcoin, which some people think we're going to get to, is if we wipe everyone the fuck out. Like I don't think consolidating here for 2 months is going to give us enough juice to double or triple Bitcoin. But a washout into like the low 80s, into the 70s, and then some time at like some really low prices, maybe then the risk reward makes sense to the upside to like a crazy multiple. So I think the fact that Bitcoin dominance looks strong is an indicator that the top's not in as well, because the top is in when that thing pukes. Obviously, it looks different than prior cycles because of all these different new coins and shit. But yeah, I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over. I just think it's a little bit of a pause in the action. Like the ETF traded exactly like this. When BlackRock filed, we doubled like immediately after. And then the actual go live date was like a semi sell the news and we kind of went sideways and then we ripped again. And that's kind of what happened now. Trump got elected. We doubled. And the actual day he went into office, I think people were legitimately expecting him to come in and be like, Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, we're buying every Bitcoin in existence starting day one. Right now, it's free money for all of you. Ross is free. There's no capital gains. Like, I think that's what people were thinking was going to happen. I remember, and this is not a shot at Trading Lord, he's my friend, but the day the ETF went live, he was streaming and he was long like $10 million. And I messaged him, I'm like, do you really think that the ETF is going to go live and you're just going to get like a free 50% like move? Like that's just not how, there's no free lunch. You know what I mean? So the idea that the day Trump went in office, we were just going to go up 20%. I never expected that. So to me, this consolidation is fine. Part of the Trump trade is played out already, right? Now let's see what the remainder of it looks like.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I mean, you got to think a lot of gains were pulled forward in the first place. When Trump got elected, we did go up, what was it, 50% in a straight line anyway. So a rest here makes sense. It's pretty hard to short this market, though. And I don't know. You really just got to be range trading it and kind of just like take your spots.
I don't short until that initial like distribution is already in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you're really good at the momentum, catching the actual point of breakdown. I wait until it's very clear that the trend has changed on like the daily. and then I'll catch that second leg. Like the first leg is so scary.
Like I'm only good at the day trading scalping part of it, and then once I try to turn that into like a swing multi-day, is how I get punished. But yeah, like just from a day trading perspective, it's not a trade right now at all. I don't even think the Fed meeting is going to turn it into a trade. Really, it does not.
You're clicking just way too much for somebody who's
what?
Like you're clicking just like every second, which makes me think that you've got huge size on right now.
Right now, no, I don't have big size. I don't even have a position.
Well,
I am clicking through a bunch of stuff.
Like he'll short for a scalp, but then he'll try and hold it like it's a swing. And it just doesn't make any sense, right? When it's like, dude, if you're up on the scalp, like just you rob the bank, you leave the bank after. You don't hang around and see if like maybe
see if they'll restock.
Yeah.
He just loves the martingale. He just constantly martingales. Like he's waiting for that moment where literally COVID happens.
This is something that people who are new on Twitter don't understand. Like they think they're degenerate. Like Keyboard has been he's like the peak level in every facet. Gambling, like straight up gambling. He's done it in poker. He'll do it at the casino. He's done it on NFTs. He's done it in prop. He's done it on trading. Like if you want a role model, this guy's done it. He's competed at the highest level of like high risk, high reward, high stakes shit in every category imaginable.
That is true.
He's the guy, and these new guys don't get that. They're like, oh, this try to spend guy. I'm like, dude, Keyboard's done it in every facet of life. It's unbelievable.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we're all pretty different traders by the sounds of it. KBM's very much a scalper with size. I think I'm more definitely long only, as in like in a market like this, I won't be looking for shorts. I'll be looking for things like Hype or Radium or Jupiter or JLPs, things that like they'll trade well in a choppy market and probably go higher. Whereas I feel like you'll trade long and short a lot, make not scalp, but like trade swing trades on breakdowns of trends and so I think it's interesting to see how you can make money in different ways. So maybe that style again, like what actually are you looking for a breakdown in a trend? Like what are your things? You're like, right, that's it.
So last cycle and the cycle before that and the cycle before that, you basically could ride the uptrend until we kind of lost daily or like 3-day structure. And then once we cooked that, it was basically the top. This cycle has been a little different because during that last consolidation, we broke daily and 3-day structure. So then you can look at the weekly, right? So as long as the weekly trend's intact, some people will use moving averages for this kind of stuff. The 200 moving average on the daily chart. That's their trend change or a crossover, whatever. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. For me, like I'm watching the daily, the 3-day and the weekly. And as long as we're maintaining higher lows, I think we're okay. And if we lose it on the daily, unless it reclaims it right away, I think then it's worrisome. You do run the lower the time frame, the more risk you run for being wrong in that, like it can break down on the daily and then 2 days later it can have reclaimed, and so you shorted a deviation or a false breakdown. The problem with the weekly is, yes, you have certainty, but a large part of the move's already played out, right? So like by the time the weekly structure breaks and the trend is shifting, a large part of that move is already in play. Like a really big ship takes a really long time to fucking turn. So that's the problem with the weekly chart, is it takes a while, but once it starts turning, it's fucking going, and then you can get in on those lower time frames with the confidence that the weekly's with you. So I think at this point in my trading career, and as well as where I'm at kind of financially, portfolio wise, my goals are much more centered around dollar amounts than they are the price of Bitcoin. Because I think the problem with trying to say I'm going to exit at 150K Bitcoin is what happens if it goes to 130 and then it starts going down and all the signals are there that you should sell, but you're like, but I want to sell at 150. You don't want to be holding that bag forever. So I have portfolio goals where I start cashing out at. To me, once Bitcoin hits 6 figures, I'm like, okay, like I'm not feeling bad about selling spot up here. You know what I mean? I bought at 25K. Like that's a 4 to 5X on just spot with size. So taking some off, I think it makes sense.
You diversifying into other stuff? Like, do you ever buy stocks and equities? Like, They're pretty good investments. Funny enough, crypto people don't really look at them. They pretty much just
go up. So like I'm cashing out to stables. I'm putting stables in the bank, and I'm putting it into my 401k and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to buy some real estate. I think that's some stuff I want to diversify to and a little bit more. Like, I have skin in the game always, and that's great, but it's different for everyone. Like, what I'm doing, I don't need to go from like here to here. Like, if I go from here to here every year, I'm crushing. You know what I mean? If I get a 20% return on all my money, I've done so well. But if you've got 10 grand, 20% is zero, right? Like, you need to go for the home run. And so that's why I always try to tell people, because they always ask me, what would you do here? I'm like, you're asking what I was trying to do in 2016, 17. Like, yes, you should go for the home run, because that's the only way you're going to turn a little bit into a lot, most likely, unless you're really good and you can stack. You got to kind of get lucky a few times, hit a couple home runs to get a meaningful amount of money. And then everything changes, right? Like, someone who's got $100 million trades way different than someone who's got $1 million versus someone who's got $10,000. It's just a different game.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's good advice. One that I don't usually do, but it is something I've talked about. Even Elliot Rowe tells me, he's like, incremental between 5 million and 50 million is not very different. I think we all know that's mostly the case. Like, an extra $1 million doesn't really do much once you kind of get that level.
I've been in this game long enough that once I got to a certain level, it became not a function of
keep your money.
Yeah, it's making sure I never go below.
Sharp. You know, and that's sharp.
And it's boring to some people. Like, I've got friends who will swing 8 figures in both directions. And like, I've already lost my hair, dude. Like, I don't need to go back there. Whatever hair I have left on my head, I'm trying to keep. So like, I'm comfortable here. This is my baseline. My family's taken care of. I'm taken care of. My wife got whatever she wants. I can, house, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go back. Right? I like flying business class. You know what I mean? I'm not going to the back of the plane anymore. And maybe that means I won't get to 9 figures, but I don't care. You know what I mean? So I'm much more interested in mitigating the downside now in my life than I am trying to hit that next insane upside.
Yeah, I'll do that once I make it all back, and then we'll be okay.
This time will be different.
It's actually refreshing to hear someone come on here and say, look, I take it out to a 401k.
A 401k was wild. I almost made a comment on that. What is that, through Breakout? How the fuck do you have a 401k?
Well, no, I just use that because that's a more understandable term.
I was gonna say, I don't know where's this guy working. That's like an employee
thing.
Called
RRSP. We have TFSA. We have different. It's like, it's also a tax vehicle, right? Like, when I contribute,
should we talk IRAs?
Yeah, exactly. So like,
yeah, let's talk IRAs, actually, guys.
I mean, if you have the ability to contribute to IRA, you should be maxing out an IRA.
Here we go. Crypto. This is Rekt Radio, guys. Come on. That's a very responsible man, and it's Tell us about the business that you do. This because this is something new as well.
Yeah, I don't know if Breakout had launched when we last spoke.
No, we spoke about it last time. I think we did.
So it's been over a year now.
We had me on one other time, Mando.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's been over a year now. Our first year was massively successful, way more than we had anticipated. We're the number 1 ranked crypto prop firm on the planet, which is incredible. We've had over 10,000 traders come through the platform at this point. We've built ourselves a nice little brand. Really, what this product is great for, and it will be many of you listening to these types of calls, is it's access to capital, right? It's access to capital. And I'm not trying to tell you to not trade on Hyperliquid. Look at me with the deep V. God damn. Should have done up an extra button.
Go off the neck.
That's a pro prop trader outfit.
Yeah, as you can see here, very professional company. But it's access to capital. So what you can do with us is you can get up to $100,000 account, and we'll let you trade. We have all the meme coins. You want to trade Trump coin, you want to trade fucking fart coin, you can trade that with us. You can trade with leverage, and you pay for an evaluation. So it's not like a traditional prop that you would work at in New York or Toronto, even though there are similarities. But you basically buy an evaluation. If you pass that evaluation, you're now trading with that account. We mitigate how much you can lose. That's how we protect ourselves. But the upside is uncapped. You can trade however you want. You can swing trade. You can gamble. You can do whatever you want to do. So it's $800 for a 100K account, basically. And we have a one step, which means if you can earn 10% on your account, you can do that in one trade, then you're funded. And now you're trading with a 100K account. We do manage the downside, obviously. That's how we're able to offer you the money. We have some really good traders who we've paid out a ton of money to. And we have a lot of people who are on here gambling. And, it is what it is. But it's been a really wild ride. It's just been different, right? Like running a company is so different than trading. It's a different kind of stress. There's positives about it. Obviously, it's like I'm taking a salary. There's some security in that. I'm not risking my money to make money. But at the same time, we've got 25 employees, right? Like it's just different. It's a different type of beast. I've got calls every single day with management, with marketing, with customer service. So, it's been fun. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Uncle Send It, my partner. But yeah, no, it's been wildly successful. It's been a lot of fun. And if you want to try it out, it's a way that you can get access to more capital than you have with a pretty low barrier to entry. Like I think our cheapest account's $50 and it's a $5,000 account.
Are you able to share like how much you've paid out to like the who's like the number one guy?
I think our biggest single payout on a 100K account was $85,000.
Nice.
We've got a guy who's been long Bitcoin since 60K, and I don't think he might never close, and I don't blame him. So like we've had some people really crush, and that's really the cost benefit that you kind of have to look into. Like how much are you putting in versus what's the potential payout? That's how you got to think about it. Like if you're paying $800 for a $100,000 account and you pass, you get funded, you've got to only earn that $800 back to be at break even. So a lot of people math it out like that. Like, okay, well, if I'm paying $800 for this, I get the 100K account, and then they full port long. And sometimes it works and they fucking hit it big. Sometimes it doesn't. But our best traders are much like the best traders on most exchanges. It's people who have a clear system. They know what they're doing. They're taking systematic risk. Their trading pattern is noticeable. We have some gamblers who hit it big, but the people who make the most money are people who are consistent.
Do you use Robinhood? I saw Robinhood now.
Some guy's calling me a scammer, and I like looked up his Twitter, and I already have him blocked. It's like, okay.
Wow, well, you got some fans.
Well, his last tweet was claiming his blast airdrop, so I'd be upset too if I was saying on a blast.
Oh man, we marked the top of that on the show.
Holy fuck!
Oh god, yeah, I think we were slightly responsible for that. Yeah. If I'm honest, OSF was a big believer in blast, and myself and KBM were less so.
OSF? I saw he said something about warm whiskey earlier.
He's on his way to Miami actually.
Oh really? Well,
so
I'm not in Miami.
For the Real Vision event.
Wow, there you go. So, man, what about the Fed meeting today? What are we doing for that? Are you positioned? I mean, you're not short-term trading, I guess. So,
no.
How's the book positioned? Give some breakout prop.
Long.
Just everybody long.
I used to think that we were gonna have alpha from the book. Everyone's just always.
It's just always long. Yeah. That makes sense, I guess.
They're always long all the time, and then if there's a big wipeout, everyone gets nuked, and then they just long again. And like they buy back, it's like redeposit and long again, right? And yeah. I get it because if they're right, you redeposit at the low and you long, you can make fucking big money. But the book is just always long consistently. Like the most profitable months for the book are like the week of the election when Trump won, where November 4th to like 11th. Everything went up like 30%. Like that was the most profitable month for the book, I think, of all time. And it's just when everything goes up simultaneously. Anytime there's any sort of variation where Bitcoin might go up, but Ethereum doesn't, or ETH goes up and Bitcoin goes down a little, like people can't seem to make money. So, I mean, it's kind of funny. As for the Fed, I think it's interesting. Canada has turned off quantitative tightening. Canada has
they lowered today, right?
Yeah, Canada historically has been about one meeting ahead of the US. So when we would lower rates and then US would stay the same, then the next meeting US would lower rates. So we're kind of front running the US. So maybe there's some alpha there that the US is not, maybe not this meeting, but maybe in the next one they start talking about lowering rates.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Powell was pretty hawkish last time around. People kind of expect he might come out a little hawkish again today. I mean, the stock market's not down. It's at highs. So I don't know. I don't know what the case is for cutting besides Trump wants it.
When you think about Trump's comment, because he got asked, and I know they're going to ask.
He's like,
I think he'll look at me. Like, they're going to ask. And
I don't know, man. I think that's
the type of guy who's like, fuck you? Like, I mean, like, it's definitely, I don't think that the elected office president can influence the Fed, but maybe I'm naive in that thought. They're supposed to not be able to. I mean, what's he going to do? Fire him, I guess? Like, what? And put in somebody who's like a Trump sympathizer? I don't know. If there's anyone who can find a way.
That even happen?
I mean, can we talk about Trump? Because obviously, myself and Mando here, we're not American. From the outside, and maybe this is just the news I'm consuming, I don't know if I've seen a president do as much in the first week and a half as I have with Trump. Like, most of the things he said I'm going to do off rip, he kind of has.
I definitely think that even if you're not like trying to be not political about it, like a lot of people thought he wouldn't keep his word on the crypto stuff, or it would be delayed and that would take a long time. And there was a lot of like, oh, he's just doing this for the vote. And then the fact that he went out and did that, I was like, wow, okay, that's even I, kind of felt like it could be 6 months before anything happens. To do it in the first like week is kind of wild. And then a bunch of other stuff. It does feel as though this presidency, I think this is kind of just the truth. Like, it feels like he's got a lot more support, broad-based support than he did last time, particularly from business. And it just feels like maybe it started off better than last time.
Yeah, I don't know. From American perspective, I mean, he likes to spotlight a lot more than other presidents. So I don't know if other presidents come in and typically sign as many executive orders. They're definitely not showman about it like he is. But I don't know. I mean, he seems like he doesn't really give a fuck about what anyone thinks right now anymore, since it's like, his final term.
Yeah. And I also think a lot of it's like so overblown too. Like, the last like 4 presidencies, the start of the presidency is just signing executive orders to undo shit the last president did and then put in their own fucking shit. But it just feels like the pendulum was due to shift back a bit because we had gone so kind of crazy.
A lot of this stuff doesn't just like get undone like instantly with an executive order. I think there's like a bit more processes that people.
Well, that's the thing about the crypto stuff I was talking about. People thought he was gonna like eliminate.
Yeah, like
think he can do that. Like through executive order.
No, it can't. Exactly. So there's a lot more to it than people have the attention span to digest.
Guys, I want you to know, Ethereum is correct. Do not believe my lies about how much money I have. I have no money. So if any government I've never made any money in crypto ever. I have $0. I just do this shit for fun.
That's really tone for you.
My page is a social experiment.
Yeah, same. I actually lost it all on Cynthia Loomer. Everything.
Come live in Portugal, guys. Living the dream.
Yeah.
It does seem pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think I think we're gonna what I agree with what I'm taking away from the most is actually I think for us to actually break through this now little range, I do think we're gonna have to have a little bit of a puke. It does feel as though that's the end. Like I remember in September we went down to like 50, didn't we? Or 55, and then everyone was like, oh my god, it's so over. And then it just went up.
I think today's gonna be choppy hell.
Yeah, the last 7-month range, I bought 60K every time. And outside of that one time where it went to like 53, I was almost instantly rewarded. And I'm kind of treating 90K similarly. Like I'm going to buy it every time it gets down there. And then I'm going to get smoked once. But if it works,
we'll have that sweep and then it'll V-bounce though. And that'll be when it makes
And then as long as you survive the 1 out of 6 attempts that fucking nukes you, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
KBM will be martingaling it the whole fucking way. Just look at that face.
He's gonna buy it
only daily.
And that's the one he's going to short. He's going to be up, and then he's not going to close.
No, dude, then I'm going to flip long. Come on, I know better now than to fucking try to momentum.
That's actually where he always makes his most money. People always forget this. Like, he always times the flip on that one time where it's like he always times it, and then he's just like, I crushed it all the way up and down.
I know, but then the problem is instead of going away from his desk for like 2 days and enjoying his newfound riches, he comes right back.
Like the fucking cocaine hamster, just can't get away from that water bowl, man.
I think you've done better though, because you've been sending the money to like a different place. Like,
I mean,
you have a new tactic.
Just giving him a hard time. Like, he cashes stuff out. It's just he is his own worst enemy. Whereas I think a lot of people, their enemy's the market. They don't know what they're doing. They get lucky. Like, Keyboard knows exactly what he's doing right and wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a very good way of doing it.
That's fair. We need another Elliot therapy session on here. It sounds like, damn.
Yeah, shout out to Elliot.
What are your DMs like, by the way, KBM? Do people come for you in the DMs? Like, because you're
I honestly don't even read my DMs. I don't even know why they're open. I just fucking like. They're just like, I feel like it's just like promoters nowadays. Like, the DMs are.
No one's like horribly long, like trying to attack you.
No, I mean, most people just call me a moron in the comments, and that's good enough for them. Because, like, you know, it is what it is. I don't really think anyone gives a shit that I'm short anymore. I've failed enough times publicly.
No, they do. Honestly, they do, dude. Like, the amount of chats I'm in where people are really scared when you go short.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
You're insufferable. If we get to an actual bear market, insufferable. Like,
no, I mean, like,
muting on I think I did early bear market last time. It's too much.
Well, you were having an NFT game, and I was really victory lapping in that one. Really patting myself on the back.
Yeah, you definitely won. You beat me in that battle.
Doesn't matter. The long game, you've won. Anyway, somebody wants a hat. Well, someday, if this company ever launches, that's on the hat. One day.
Waiting patiently.
Yeah, patient someday.
So do you think we're too late to be streamers now? It does feel like people just want these like shitcoin streams, right? Like, we'll just run it up. That feels like that's the new game for streaming now, like for big numbers.
Is it though? Like, I feel like those days came and went really quickly. Like, so people aren't making like big numbers. Like the left curve mantra is kind of, the ship's sailing pretty quickly out of the harbor here.
With the streaming shitcoins too is, like, if you have an actual audience, you can't stream yourself on pump.fun. Like, any coin I pull up, people would snipe it immediately and try and buy it. Like, it would go horribly wrong. Gambling streaming can still be fun, you know, like, like, there's no way that it's like manipulated by the audience. Like, I won't even, I have a hard time even like live streaming and show, like, people be like, look at this bag. I'm like, dude, this coin is like so low. Like, I would feel bad looking at it and like telling you it looks good, because then you're going to go buy it. Whereas, you know, when I talk about Bitcoin or whatever, like, nothing I say really matters. So I don't know.
Yeah, I remember you called that out kind of early. I remember last actually, I do remember you coming on, because it was like the early days of Ansem blowing up, and we're like, oh, this is dangerous. Like, people are starting to call really low caps, and now that's just like,
now it's common. Like,
that is just like what everyone seems to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ansem's been in a weird spot. Like, at the end of the day, it's his account. Like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But like, whether you like it or not, when you have that much fucking clout and people are following you, if you tweet out like a $10 million project, like, it is gonna double. Like, people.
It doesn't do that much anymore. Yeah, but like other. But I remember that.
The legality and the morality around that, I mean, legality, I have no idea. But morality, like, everyone's got their own barometer, right? Like, some people just don't give a fuck. And I'm unfortunately for me and my bank account, is I've always felt like icky about like tweeting out like some random low cap. So if it's like under 50 million, like, I won't talk about it. It doesn't mean I won't trade it. I'm not buying it, but like, I won't tweet it, because I just feel like at that level, it's still too low where I can influence the chart a little bit. And I don't really want to do that. And I also don't want to like, I know that people who buy after me are probably going to lose money. Like that, I never felt good about that. And like, that's like the rub. But again, it's crime season, bro. Trump launched a meme coin. So who cares anymore?
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, if Aiden Ross is now going to come in and start doing it. Actually, I saw him stream the other day and he actually said he wasn't going to do that, but who knows? And then you have Portnoy and all these other guys coming in. Feels like a lot of streamers might.
A lawyer worth his salt, he will tell him not to live stream himself buying low cap liquid shitters, because there's no way that ends well.
Yeah, I think that's already over. It was like a flash in the pan for these guys. They'll lose money and realize the market fucking shit right now for that kind of thing anyway. And
a lot of people gave a lot of the money they made on Trump back. Like, obviously, some people crushed, but a lot of people crushed and then went and tried to get more. They tried to double dip, and they gave a bunch back. I'm not saying that the Trump trade is necessarily over. The chart can go up for sure. But, like, if you make 8 figures in a day, like, bro, leave the bank. You won the game. You won. I've been here a long time. Like, those are once in a while, once in a generation spots. And if you hit the lick, don't return to the scene of the crime, dude. Fucking leave.
I'm just hanging out with binoculars with my hand down my pants at that kind of
What do you think? What do you think on Trump?
Unnecessarily, you're just leaving semen everywhere, and leaving DNA all over the place.
The Trump the coin. I mean, buddy, no one is gonna. They're not gonna walk away with billions of dollars in this unlock. That's just.
I just felt like there was that moment. There was a moment probably a few days ago where I really felt like this could really come, and like we're gonna have tons of people come in, and then literally the whole market just nuked another. Yeah. Trump went down like what 20-30%, but the rest of the market just got eviscerated.
Like trial by fire, right? Like I mean, my first experience in crypto was making a little money and then losing all of it almost immediately after. So it's whether or not you come back from that and you say, okay, well, what the fuck? I saw what's possible. Let me use that as motivation. Or you are what I think most people are, is they say, well, that was a fucking scam. And then they ignore it for 4 more years. Right?
Yeah, that's probably what people do.
Well, we're bumping up against the time, man. As always, it was good. Great to hear all your wisdom along the way. And we need one more nugget. How do we not get wrecked in this market?
I would say that you need to stop buying meme coins, stop buying altcoins, buy Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is you can buy other stuff, but you should rotate it back to Bitcoin, or at the very least, the base chains. I think the market dynamics have changed in a way where, because of the ETFs and things like that, we're not seeing the same money flow from just like, oh, Bitcoin went up, now it's all going to flow into my altcoins. So if you're hitting licks in the Sol Casino or wherever else you're playing on leverage, rotate that back into something more secure, whether that's Bitcoin or the base chains itself like Solana. And then obviously your Roth IRA, load that motherfucker up.
Always. Yeah, that was a long-winded way to say denominate in Bitcoin, wasn't it?
Or Roth IRA. We're back to being a Roth IRA chat here, guys.
Yeah, lovely.
We've been there before. We were there about 6 months ago. I think we were talking about Roth IRAs. Okay, well.
What happened? Did the market nuke immediately after, or did it go up?
It just went chopped. It feels like when we start talking about Roth IRAs, we're talking about yield, which normally means we're going to chop for like 6 months.
Man, dark days. All right, well, everyone, good luck trading that
Roth Radio.
I guess. Seems like it's going to be a choppy one, but
yeah. Thanks, man. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.